another video. So today I have my wrap up and I'm super excited because I read a total of 4 books and a half. I'll explain that later. But the first book I don't have with me. It was called The Experiment. I will add a picture right here and then I'll come back to the video. So we're back. The first book is The Experiment. It's about a Christian girl who takes it upon herself to do this experiment where she will ask herself, what would Jesus do in any situation? And it makes her really realize that we don't always act the way we should. We should be more open to other people and kinder and more respectful, and it opens your eyes to see that none of us are perfect. And I love the message behind it and what she learns at the end of this and everything. So it's really a beautiful book to read and I would recommend it. And then the next book I read was another Christian book, but this one is based on the true story of Corrie ten Boom and her family. During the Nazi takeover, she and her family helped the anti-Nazi underground. So they helped hide a lot of Jewish people. And in all of this, they always knew the risk, but they took it anyways. And it's just a book full of love and heart, and it's very sad and all of that, because at the end, she does end up being taken to the encampment with her sister, Betsy. But it really shows their great faith in God and His Word, and how that gets them through so many things, and just the beautiful way God works in this situation. And I really loved it and I enjoyed it. And then I also read another book called Beware Princess Elizabeth. This one is based off of obviously Queen Elizabeth, but in her teenage years, and it's taken through her perspective as a teenager. I love this author and how she wrote it. I really enjoyed this book. It took me one day to read it and it was really, really fast. So I really enjoyed it. I hear she has other royal books as well. It's like the take on different queens. Anyways, I really enjoyed it. It's just really fun and enjoyable and great way to learn like history in a fun way. So there's that. And then I read Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Grodin, and I actually really enjoyed it. I've read her book, a past book before called Walled City, and I thought it was really enjoyable, except you don't really connect with the characters as much. So even though I enjoyed it, I didn't love it. This one I enjoyed a lot more, and I really liked the protagonist. So the story was really good. It's what would have happened if Hitler had won the war, and just the journey of this one girl to kind of avenge her family's experience in the encampments and stuff. Anyways, it's really interesting. It has kind of a sci-fi twist to it and adventure, and you really get to know her. I really enjoyed it. So I gave it like a 4 stars. I'm currently reading the Blood for Blood one, which is a sequel. I really like this book. So the last one that I tried to read, so those are the 4 that I actually read. The last one that I tried to read is this one. It's called The Dog Who Spoke with Gods. I thought it was like a real life story until I started realizing the dog had its own thoughts written on there. I do appreciate how the author explains the dog's thoughts with gestures, so you kind of understand why the dog was acting and thinking the way it was. But the story itself, I couldn't get into the writing style, so it was really hard for me, and I DNF'd it halfway through. But then I read the ending because I wanted to know how it ended. So it's about this dog who's taken in as a research lab dog, and so pretty much tortured in this laboratory. And one of the researchers bonds with the dog, and she's conflicted between her job and pleasing her dad and grandfather, who are like these doctors, I think, and following her heart, telling her that she should free this dog even though imprisonment is a risk. And I fast forwarded to the end, and it has kind of like a bittersweet ending. But the point is, I didn't enjoy this book. I felt like I was forcing myself to read it, so I couldn't really get into the story. So for me, it just wasn't my kind of book. I liked dog stories that are real and based off true stories. So yeah, it just wasn't for me. But excuse me. So what I'm currently reading right now is a middle grade book that I just started 2 days ago. It's called If You Find This. This story, excuse me, this story, I don't know, I'm 100 pages in one day, which, you know, it's pretty good. I mean, the writing's pretty big, but I don't know exactly how to explain it. I'm not enjoying it as much as I wished I did, but I love the cover. That's why I bought it. But it's about this awkward kid. He's kind of a loner. It's hard for him to make friends because he has a different way about him. He is like really smart, like really a talented musician, and so that's how he kind of sees the world, through music in a way. And then his family's going through really hard times. His dad lost his job. They're about to lose their house. His grandfather just got out of prison and is living with them, and he has like onset of Alzheimer's. At the same time, a few years before, his mom had a miscarriage and lost the baby. They buried it in the backyard where there's this tree growing. And so this kid has grown up talking to this tree with his music, and like that's how he communicates with his brother, in his mind anyways. I don't know, there's lyrical parts in here that I don't feel it flows with the story, and I don't really connect with it. Later on in the story, like his grandfather, because he has like onset of Alzheimer's, he forgets things and stuff, but then he starts mentioning how he used to live in this ghost house, which the kids call this ghost house that's abandoned, and how his family buried some heirlooms there, and they're very valuable, and he wants to at least give that to his daughter because he was never really a good father, and like, so the kid thinks this is his way to save their home. And so when his mother decides to take the grandfather to a rest home, he kind of sneaks his grandfather out of there. And there's also these moments where he meets these two other outcasts, kind of misfit kids, each with their own issues. Each one is a loner. Nobody really wants to befriend them either. And I don't feel any like connection between the three characters, but they do help each other out at certain points in the story so far. I don't know. I can't connect with the characters. I can't connect with the story. The idea of the story is really good, but the execution is what I'm having a hard time with. Like, I just can't connect with the story. But I am going to continue it because I do want to find out what happens and all of that. So that's the one I'm reading. The other one I'm currently reading is Blood for Blood. And this is a sequel to Wolf by Wolf. And so far I'm 60 pages in. I'm enjoying it. I like how they started this sequel by introducing us a little bit more to the supportive characters in the first book, so you get to know them a little bit more and see where they're coming from. And I really appreciated that because mostly we connect with the main character, but not so much with the two side characters. So I'm really enjoying this book so far. And yeah, so those are the two I'm reading. I probably won't finish them in January because I only have 2 more days for January to finish. So, but I'm enjoying them. And that's so far my wrap up and what I will be reading in February. I'll probably add more to it, so we'll see how that goes. Anyhow, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey guys, so I needed to add something because this is the day before the last day of January, and I actually ended up finishing this book. And even though there's parts of the story I don't enjoy, at the end of it, I do feel it took a really long time to get into the story. The characters at the end, you kind of understand them a little bit more. They do build a friendship out of this, which is really nice because they're kind of loners for different reasons, but they all have reasons why they're that way. And they all have these same fears and these same like issues, and they can kind of relate to each other. So that's kind of a touching thing. It's pretty depressing. It does touch on a lot of hard subjects, so it's not like just an easy kind of read. So for a middle grade book, I think it's a little bit, it does touch on a lot of like depressive things, but I did like the adventure and the ending. So at the end of it, I actually really enjoyed it. Not as much as I hoped, but I still enjoyed it more than I thought. So I gave it like a 3. So I think it's a good book. So I didn't thoroughly like love it, but I enjoyed it. So I'm happy I was able to finish it before January. So that's another one of my wrap-up books. And now I will continue with Blood for Blood. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.